Buying a new home sounds simple until you realize you have two completely different options. You could buy a brand new home in a master plan community, or you could build a custom home from scratch.
Hey guys, we're Drake and Michelle Carter with the Carter team at Keller Williams Heritage here in New Braunfels, Texas. Today we're going to go into the pros and cons of the two different build processes, custom homes, fully custom homes versus more of a tract build master plan community home. So stick with us and we're going to give you the ups and downs, pros and cons of the two different types.
Okay, so let's start with our production builders. We're talking Highland homes, Harry homes, maybe Coventry homes. They are typically building in a community that's already been established by a developer. They already have floor plans ready to go. Every now and then with a builder, maybe like Chesmar, so to speak, you can maybe make some customizations, maybe even Highland, but more likely than not, they already have the floor plan ready and you get to pick. So maybe that's a style for you if you don't like making a ton of decisions.
With them, you're not going to be able to make any like architectural changes within the floor plan, moving walls, things like that. But you will be able to add some potential, like maybe add a fireplace or, some instances like that.
Other changes you can make with those are typically picking out your flooring, your countertops. Like maybe you want to upgrade from level 2 granite to level 6 quartz. We usually see people upgrading the countertops and the flooring. Those are probably the two biggest factors. And then maybe even your elevation, your exterior on the outside. So you can still make some changes, but
they'll all be to your finish outs, right? So that's what Michelle was just going over. Your floorings, your lighting, your exterior elevation, those are all a production style builder is going to call your finish out. So they have some customization on the finish outs of the product, but not necessarily on the internals or the architectural structures. So now going into like a custom home build, you get to pick out a plot of land that you want to build on. You get to pick out the entire design of the house. You're going to, you'll meet with an architect and you'll design the structure of the entire house from the entryway down to the bathrooms. And then a lot of the times, since you do get to pick your plot of land, you have the flexibility to pick your lot in a neighborhood that has an HOA or doesn't have an HOA. So there's a lot more flexibility with that.
A lot more decisions come with that too. So if you are looking to be very particular, maybe you've owned several homes previously and you are looking to build your forever home, then building a custom home could be a great option for you. All right, let's talk about the pros of production building. So again, this is like our Highland, Perry, Coventry builders such as those. Now, one of the biggest pros is that there's a pretty definite timeline. You can usually move in within 30 to 90 days. Even if you build from the ground up with those, you can typically get in within around 8 to 9 months. Of course, this is pending the conditions of the economy. So, a few years ago when we had a lot of supply shortage, those timelines were a little more questionable, but honestly, within the last couple years, everything's been pretty steady.
Yeah, we just had one from the ground up complete in 4 months. So definitely have changed over the past couple years.
Yes, so if you have a specific timeline and you know exactly where you want to be, then a production build could be great for you.
So point number 2 is let's talk about affordability. Typically with these production style builders, they have the capacity to buy in bulk because they're developing large tracts of land. In that instance, they can pass some of those savings on down to the consumer where, you can buy a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home here in the area for under $400,000 in some areas. So with that also, if you're going to be on the lending side, a lot of these production style builders are also offering some incentive for either like closing to cover closing costs, so you don't have to come to the table with as much. And then a lot of them are offering interest rate buy downs, from the par rate of in mid high 6s right now, and some of them are offering buy downs to high 4s. So there's a big difference on monthly payments on that.
So it's honestly great for a first-time home buyer or even maybe your second home. We get people all the time who have a very strict monthly budget that they want to go off of. So affordability wise, we really like to bring people to these builders. All right, now the third pro about production building is lower stress. So we touched on it a little bit at the beginning, but when you've got your custom homes, you pick out a lot of options. These are pretty much cut and dry, ready to move in essentially. All they have to do is put it together. Depending on the builder, you might be able to pick out different things. However, they usually, in today's market, go ahead and pre-pick some really awesome finishes. So you might even come to a master plan community, say you come into Highland Homes like we're in today, and they have several spec options available. So you could see one of those, fall in love, and you could be in that home within 1 month's time frame. Talk about low stress. Throughout that process, the best thing we can do is to still secure financing and also get an inspector. But other than that, it's pretty much ready to go for you.
And to touch on the low stress, a lot of the time with these production builders, they also offer warranties on the home, whether it be Perry or Highland or Coventry. A lot of the times they're offering, the lingo is like a 1, 2, 10-year warranty. Anywhere from 1 to 2 years, they offer a bumper to bumper warranty, meaning, if a window breaks or if there's cracks in the drywall from, foundation settling, things like that, the builder will come out within those first 1 to 2 years and fix those. The 2-year is, they offer a lot of them offer a 2-year warranty on your major mechanicals, heating and air, water heater, dishwashers to that instance, and then a 10-year warranty on structural foundation and structural inside the actual building of the house.
All right, now we talked about the pros. Let's definitely touch on some of the cons. One of them would be, if you do like to customize things in your home, there's just limited options to do so. So depending on your price point and depending on the builder, that is how much customization you get to have. So if we're going with, say, D.R. Horton, then they have those homes ready to go. You don't really get to pick anything out. Now, if you're going with Highland, you get to go to their design center and you get to pick out your flooring, your countertops, just really, really, really customize what you like in terms of the finish out. Now, that would be a con though if you want to pick out everything. If you want to pick out
room sizes, architectural changes within the house, vaulted ceilings, you want bay windows or sliding glass doors, those types of changes within the home. Con number 2, which is a big detractor for a lot of people, is that when the developer buys these, parcels of land, you're talking, 200-300 acres to develop and put, anywhere from 500 to 1,000 homes, they're going to stack them in here, meaning you're going to get anywhere from 1/10 of an acre to maybe 2/10 of an acre of land to build your home on, which is going to be limiting to your backyard size. So if you're wanting a little bit of elbow room and room for, to hold parties or have backyard activities, it might be limited in some of these master planned communities.
So yes, con if you're looking for a larger lot. A lot of the master plan communities, production builders don't offer those. However, if you are looking for less of a yard, maybe you don't enjoy maintaining your yard, then, or maybe you're retired and don't want to mess with that anymore, then that could be a good option for you.
Another big detractor is going to be the community will most likely have an HOA, and then within a master plan community, you're going to be fighting construction for all the new construction homes in the community. So that means you might have some dirt and debris, some trash,
Nails.
Yes, I think I had 3 or 4 flat tires the first year I moved into my first home. And so yes, buy the warranty on the tires. Save you a few $100 on that. Like I was saying, the HOA in these master plan communities, they're a little bit more strict. So if you were wanting to park like a trailer or a boat in your front yard, you're not going to be able to do that a lot of the time. So just a lot of different varying things, and that could be a detractor for these master plan communities.
Yes, we lived in one, and I swear the biggest topic on our Facebook group is always about the HOA. So feel free before you move into one to ask the neighbors what the real vibe is like. Okay, now let's get into the pros of the custom build process. So we've already touched on it a little bit, but biggest one being full customization. So you can pick anything from where your dog's water bowl goes to if you want a huge extended back patio to host barbecues. You can choose the direction your house faces, east or west. Our backyard's facing the west right now, and we would probably not build that way again, to be honest. So I would say that's honestly the biggest pro. But let's dive into a few more.
So the next big pro that I see is you get to choose your own lot, meaning you get to go and tour neighborhood communities that have, larger lots for sale if you'd want a larger area to build your home on, or maybe you're looking to build on 5, 10, 20 acres of land and that you've inherited and that your family's passed down, and you just want to build your dream home on there.
Our third pro for custom home building is the unique resale value. So whenever you go to sell your home in a master plan community, you are going to be competing with the builders. So like we just touched on the awesome incentives that they offer, your home is going to have to look very similar, if not better, than the model home. And so the unique resale value of a custom home is really valuable because it's not standing, next door to the model home where they are offering all those incentives. It's got its own unique features. Maybe it's a larger lot. Maybe it's some fun things that made your lifestyle easier that will make the next buyer's lifestyle easier too. Maybe it's some awesome trees throughout your property. It just really stands out above the rest.
So moving into the cons of building a truly custom home, there's really two that really come to mind and really stick out the most. It's going to be time and cost, right? So if you're looking at a custom home build process, you're going to be looking at the purchase of a lot if you don't have the land already. So that could take up to 30 days, 30, 45 days, from contract. Doesn't take into account of the time of searching for the actual lot. And then the actual build process of designing your home, picking out finishes,
Meeting with the architect.
Meeting with the architect, securing financing. So all of those things take ample amounts of time. From a custom home build perspective, I would say anywhere from 12 to 15 months.
Sometimes longer, depending on how you want to structure your time. Like if you are on it and if your contractor's on it, maybe it can get done sooner, but it could also take longer than 15 months.
Very, very good point. And then the second one is cost, right? With it being 100% customizable, when you get to go to the design studios, any flooring studios, lighting studios, you're gonna get to see the cherry dangling in front of your eye, right? The carrot dangling in front, and you're gonna get to see all of these beautiful. You know what I'm talking about? Like
the cherry or the carrot?
Well, the both. The cherry on top, the carrot out front. Tomato potato kind of deal. But you're gonna get to see all of these really cool flooring, really cool light fixtures, really cool faucets, and go look at a $250 light fixture versus a $50 light fixture. I guarantee you're probably gonna like the $250 light fixture.
It takes a lot of self-control going into those showrooms and not picking the most expensive.
Yeah, yeah. So with that, you have to be very budget conscious. Working in, and so there's a lot more chance of
going over
budget.
Yes.
So with that being said, if your budget's anywhere from $700,000 to $900,000, I would go ahead and buffer 10 or 15% into that, because
different things you're gonna pick once you see them. Yeah. So here's the breakdown on which one you should choose. You should go with a production builder if you are looking for affordability, if you're looking for an easy process, and if you're okay with a community lifestyle and maybe a few HOA rules.
So on the other hand, go with a fully custom home if you got the time and money and land if you already have it, or if you're wanting a little bit more elbow room. All of those things can be big pros to why you want to go with a custom home. So Michelle and I actually help our clients make these decisions all the time, whether it be a production style home or a custom home. It's truly based on your lifestyle, your budget, and your timeline. So if you have any questions or concerns about the different processes, feel free to reach out to us. And again, we're Drake and Michelle Carter with the Carter team at Keller Williams Heritage here in New Braunfels, Texas, and we're your local guides to New Braunfels and the surrounding areas.